It's a city commission meeting, but they're here to watch the autism awareness month proclamation.
Okay.
You look lost.
Yeah, well, I'm supposed to go to City Hall, for
Is this
an
City Hall?
awards,
It
an
is.
awards
City Hall.
thing,
For,
Is-
Rhonda Aaron.
for the women, for the women.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're in the right spot.
Okay,
Yeah,
Have a seat.
If I find one more building, I'll be nuts.
yeah, they're doing,
We just don't know I don't know the names, but they do.
the recognition of women in the city of Palatka.
yes.
Okay, yep, and that will be.
That's my cousin she's talking about, Aaron.
Oh, okay. And then, after they do that, Craig, is when they'll do the autism awareness proclamation.
Right.
Yes.
She's my daughter.
Oh, very cool.
And hey,
Yes, sir.
anybody autism thing, I'm just ain't good at autism thing.
I would, but I've been here 9:30 this morning, and the cat isn't in the house. Sorry.
Welcome, everybody, to the City of Palatka City Commission meeting on March 26, 2026. It's 6 p.m., and I'm calling this meeting to order. We'll begin with the invocation by Commissioner Campbell and Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Davis. Please stand if you're able.
Please join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your grace. We thank you for your mercy. We thank you for your mercy. We ask, as God, as we go throughout this meeting, that you give us the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding to move this city forward. We thank you for everyone that has gathered under the sound of our voice. We ask that you bless every household that is represented in this city and this county. We pray these prayers in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge.
Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Jones?
Present.
Commissioner Campbell?
Present.
Commissioner Davis? Present. Commissioner Board is excused. Mayor Carrera?
Present. Thank you. We have quorum. Has everybody had an opportunity to... What are we doing? Okay. Has everybody had an opportunity to read the minutes from March 12, 2026?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. Excuse me, on to public recognition presentations. Presenters are limited to 5 minutes. In the spotlight, Department of the Quarter, Ms. Jones.
Madam Mayor and Commissioners, thanks once again for allowing us this opportunity to recognize departments as well as employees. So for the month of March, we would like to highlight our water treatment plant department. With the Superintendent, Sean Renaud, we have Operator Shannon Offord, we have Nico Gauss, Cody Haley, Eric Johnson, Zachary McCann, and Eli Tincher. For the first time in the city, just a highlight of what's been going on at the water treatment plant over the year. For the first time in the city of Palatka's history, the water treatment facility has achieved full regulatory compliance with all governing agencies, including FLDEP, St. Johns River Water Management District, and the EPA. The plant is now successfully meeting all the water quality standards, including TTHM and HAA5 benchmarks, milestones that had not previously been attained. Operationally, strong leadership has transformed team dynamics and performance. Staff are now aligned under clearly defined goals, working collaboratively toward shared objectives that support both daily operations and long-term success. Strategic planning and execution have also significantly advanced critical infrastructure projects, such as the aeration tower rebuild, repainting of plant buildings and storage tanks, rehabilitation of multiple wells, overhaul of high service pumps, and a complete SCADA system rebuild are being implemented efficiently with fiscal responsibility. These improvements are positioning the facility for sustainability and future growth. In parallel, leadership has demonstrated a strong commitment to professional development, achieving the FLDEP Class A Water Operator Certification and advanced credentialing that typically requires 5 years, was completed in just 4 years. This certification enables operation of water treatment facilities of any size and represents a critical asset for the city. Additional court work in advanced treatment processes, project management, grant development, and safety further strengthens operational expertise. In addition to a renewed emphasis on communication and collaboration, has strengthened relationships across city departments and external partners. Coordination with Public Works, the Reclamation, Community Affairs, Police, Fire, and regional utilities has improved significantly, enhancing overall efficiency and responsiveness. Internal morale and cohesion have also been elevated through active leadership and team-building initiatives. All of these achievements reflect a high-performance operation, a clear strategic direction, and a strong foundation for continued progress and growth. Please join me in congratulating the water treatment plant and all their accomplishments.
citizens, thank you. We've been putting a lot of work in, and I owe it all to these guys right here. I mean, I may do the paperwork and get things through, but feet on the pavement, these are the guys that get it done. They've saved the city tons of money doing jobs in-house, especially this man right here, Cody Haley. He's our lead mechanic. He's saved hundreds of thousands of dollars for the city, and I'm very proud to have him. Thank you.
No, no.
I'm fine. Go ahead, I'm just teasing you. Thank you.
And I just want to say, Sean has done so much. It's amazing. We started with those lining of the water, remember? And he's just grown significantly also as an individual employee. I'm so proud of him. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're just going to call the name.
Okay, where are you? Want to hear? Come on, with my able-bodied assistant.
Okay, let me say one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Please.
Go ahead.
Okay, so staff has informed me, and I found out too, that this is the month that women, should be, we live 12 months a year. We can take 1 month at least and recognize what women do. I mean, we do so much. Not only are we mothers, grandmothers, wives, we clean house, we get up early in the morning, we run to work, we go get grocery, and then we still have the nerve to be effective. I don't know about anybody else. I just happen to be a woman also. So guess what? I know. Nobody have to tell me, explain to me. I don't need to read a book. I actually know what it takes to be a woman in this day and age. You have to have lots of skill sets. And we, the city of Palatka, we just want you to know we recognize you. We're grateful to our commissioners, our mayor, and they're going to say something great too, but I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
And to that end, we're going to recognize not everyone, because we have many women who have contributed positively to this community, but we're going to recognize some of those women this evening. Dr. Yvette Jones. We're going to keep, okay. Didn't know those two. You didn't tell me. We didn't post this. Laura France. I'm going to mispronounce this. Aria. Aria. Okay, I am so sorry. And I never mind the last name, but Aria, you know who you are. I didn't hear properly, so I can't. Can you go? Aria Aguirre. Lakeisha Rayburn. Allegra Kitchens.
Don't break it.
Ellington. Erin Hughes. Sheila McCoy. Audrey Wise. Takiara Sessions. Okay. Yep. Julianne Young, and Miss Julianne was not able to attend this evening, so we'll get this to her. Jacquita Williams. Ms. Williams was also not able to attend, and we will make sure she receives this. And Teresa Jackson, who also was unable to attend, but we will make sure she receives this. Please, thank you.
Sorry, you gotta get up first. There you go. Today I'm the roller.
Okay, are we looking this way? Got it, thank you so much. Thank you.
You run next time, you leave. District close. We got it.
Aaron, I want you to go back and look at that video.
I'm sorry, what?
You got a famous moment, go back and look at the video.
Yeah, we'll go it's on YouTube.
It is, go look at it.
What do you do?
We're going to move on to proclamation, City of Palatka proclamation for Autism Awareness Month. Whereas autism spectrum disorder, ASD, is a complex developmental condition that affects communication, behavior, and social interaction, and is estimated to impact millions of individuals and families worldwide. And whereas early diagnosis, understanding, and supported services greatly improve outcomes for individuals with autism, helping them thrive, achieve independence, and contribute meaningfully to their communities. And whereas the City of Palatka recognizes the importance of promoting acceptance, inclusion, and understanding for all individuals with autism, and acknowledges the dedication of families, caregivers, educators, healthcare professionals, and advocates who provide support and encouragement every day. And whereas increasing public awareness about autism enhances opportunities for community members to learn, support, and fully include individuals with autism in all aspects of community life. And whereas the city of Palatka proudly stands with local organizations, schools, and families working tirelessly to spread awareness, promote acceptance, and foster a community where every individual is valued and empowered. Now, therefore, I, Roberta Correa, Mayor of the City of Palatka, Florida, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2026 as Autism Awareness Month in the City of Palatka and encourage all residents to participate in activities and initiatives that support individuals with autism and promote acceptance, understanding, and inclusion for all. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Miss Amanda, could you come up? Is everybody else here?
No, that whole crew.
Everybody's coming.
Thank you all for allowing us to be here this afternoon. We are the members of Zeta Phi Beta sorority, Zeta Mu Zeta chapter for Putnam County. It is a passion of ours and one of our national initiatives to support autism awareness. As an autism mom, this is something that I greatly support. The main thing being spreading awareness and bringing resources and connecting families in our community to the resources in the community. Thank you for having us. We also want to invite you next Thursday from 5:30 to 7 to CeeLo Overturf Cafeteria, where we are having an autism awareness fair, where we will have community partners, we will have sensory tables, and many different things for the families in our communities to connect them to resources. Thank you.
All you do.
Proclamation, City of Palatka Water Conservation Month. Whereas water is a basic and essential need of every living creature, and whereas the state of Florida water management districts and the City of Palatka are working together to increase awareness about the importance of water conservation, and whereas the City of Palatka and the state of Florida have designated April, typically a dry month when water demands are most acute, Florida's Water Conservation Month to educate citizens about how they can help save Florida's precious water resources. And whereas has always encouraged and supported water conservation through various educational programs and special events, and whereas every business, industry, school, and citizen can make a difference when it comes to conserving water, and whereas every business, industry, school, and citizen can help by saving water and thus promote a healthy economy and community, and whereas outdoor irrigation comprises a large portion of water use, Palatka will encourage citizens and businesses to focus on improving outdoor irrigation efficiency. Now, therefore, be it resolved that by virtue of the authority vested in me as the Mayor of the City of Palatka, do hereby proclaim the month of April as Water Conservation Month. Palatka, Florida calls upon all residences and businesses to help protect our precious water resources by practicing water saving measures, and increasing awareness of the importance of conservation and recognition of the 27th year of Water Conservation Month. This year's focus will be on ensuring that outdoor irrigation systems operate efficiently by using properly functioning rain shut-off devices. By making sure these devices are installed, connected, and working as intended, our community can prevent unnecessary watering, reduce waste, and make better use of the rainfall we receive. Motion to approve? So moved. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. Who is here to accept?
Right here, ma'am.
Okay.
How are you? Thank you very much. I didn't want to sneak up on you.
Would you like to say a few words?
Just real quick.
Okay.
Bill White from the Water Management District. First of all, how do you follow the last two proclamations? So being last on the agenda, not good because they were fantastic. I've been doing this probably about my third year now of talking about water conservation. Thank you very much for bringing the awareness to the people. This year it's totally different. So April, they say, is the driest month. Well, now we got January, February, March, April, and probably May before we start getting the rains into June. That with growth just is exploding throughout all of Florida. It's putting a major strain on the aquifer. That's where we get all our fresh, clean drinking water. The aquifer runs all the way up from Georgia all the way down into by Palm Bay. So it covers almost the whole state of Florida. So it doesn't really matter what Putnam's doing if Duval's drawing a lot more. So our board has tried to get ahead of this problem before it becomes a problem because we monitor the aquifer and it's low. The other bad thing that's going against this, and I hate to even say this because the emergency manager will be down there put me in a headlock, but we haven't had any big rain events. Yes, do it again. We haven't had any big rain events. That's what fills up the aquifer. So the combination of high growth, not a lot of rain, is putting us in a struggling position. The board decided to go to a phase 2 water shortage. Sounds kind of scary, but it's not. It's what we've been preaching all along. They recommend watering only once a week. Even though Putnam, I think their social media does a great job. If you see your neighbor out there watering every day, let them know. Maybe they don't see this. Maybe they're not a social media kind of person. Just talk to them. If we all work together, we all do this as a team, we can get to June. And the district's got a lot of programs to fill the aquifer back up. So working together as a team, we'll get through this together. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Everybody look this way. Got it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Manager, administrative reports, financial report.
Greetings, everybody. I know numbers are boring, but that was exciting, all the things that happened. I'll try to bring the same excitement for finance. So here we have our dashboard, and overall, the financials are stable. We just have a few areas where we're just monitoring as we dive into the half of the year. We're 41% into the year. This is the 5th month of the year, and we're just monitoring overall citywide the revenues, and the revenues for the airport and utility we're monitoring closely. Okay, you can go to the next page. The next page is an overall dashboard for the departments in the general fund. Overall, the departments are doing great. The only department that we're monitoring, that's the Jenkins Gymnasium. If you scroll down a little more, you'll see the yellow there, and it's basically that project where we are renovating, and the project is moving forward as it should. So that's pretty much all that for this page. We can move to the next page. And with the reserves, there wasn't a slight error there. This is the 5th month and not the 3rd month, but the reserves don't change month to month much, so this is pretty much the same numbers as the previous month. So any questions or concerns? That pretty much concludes my financial report.
I just have a question. You indicated on there that the red indicates undertaking corrective action.
You recommending changing that, changing the
No,
wording?
I would like to have some kind of thought as to what kind of changes are being considered, or what plan. It doesn't have to be detailed, but just an overview as to what plans have been put in place to address that.
The first step is meeting with the airport manager. I believe this will be a collaborative effort to find ways to bulk up the reserves. And if that means possibly increasing rates as we go into the budget workshop period, we would make plans to consider increasing the rates at the airport. We could also consider where the expenditures can be, where we can save, and look at some of the contracts that are currently in place and how we can save dollars there, and those dollars that we save, we can set them aside to place them in the reserve account.
Okay, thank you. I would make the recommendation, if we have a fund that is in the red, that we have a thorough report as to what it entails, the correction, the undertaking, the corrective action plan, just so we as the elected officials will have a better understanding as to, because it's been red for a while now, and the only thing that we've noticed is it's just saying that it was a plan that, or action has been taken, but as far as the action, we are not aware of what actions have been taken. So I
Just to give more clarity about the reserves, you can think of it like a bank account where you have funds that are part of your fund balance that is just sitting there. And what we do when we approve the budget, we're approving and saying this is the amount that we're spending for the year. So if we were going to increase the reserves or make steps to increase it, it would come through a resolution from presented before you all, stating that we want to set aside funds to increase the reserves. So just so you're understanding, it's not.
No, I
like-
get it, but the
okay.
reason I'm asking is because, again, when we come into these meetings, of course, we have people that are in here and we have people that watch. I think we should be able to explain to them as well, our constituents, so they have an understanding as to how things work.
May I add something, please? It's also important to note that airport fund is an enterprise fund, and in reality, it does not have a requirement to have reserves. So the fact that we are doing it is a good thing.
Correct.
And, but it's not like required, but this is the plan of the city of Palatka to have our, no matter what fund it is, be it enterprise or governmental, we do have our own standard that we would like to increase it. So I believe one of the things I will do, Commissioner, is meet with the finance department, finance director, get a little bit more understanding of what other cities are utilizing as a percentage for enterprise funds, which is totally different than governmental. Governmental is 16.7%. So we'll make sure and take care of that too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think I'm good. I was just going to make the statement that airport expenditures are green. The department is running well. It's
Yes.
from a financial perspective, and that these were reserves that are not required. That's the comment I was going to make. But to Commissioner Campbell's point, clarification would definitely help on this slide. And when there is something red, the appropriate steps being taken would be very helpful in these meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
City manager report?
Oh, yes, ma'am. So I wanted to speak about the floating dock. Just a quick update that we're very close to completion. It's my understanding that we expect to be completed by April 1st. I don't think that has changed or anything. And we've maintained close communication and interaction with both the county and the Chamber of Commerce. To the water consumption, we had a report that that showed that we have a total of 62,401 services that we have billed for the fiscal year, and that amounted to 430,000. I don't know if this is, what meter is this, gallons? 430,360,000 gallons have been used for the year. So I thought that was good information to know. The next item was the Human Resources Department update. We have hired a Human Resources Director, and she started on March 23rd, which was Monday of this week. We have filled the positions of engineer and senior planner. We've also posted the revised job description. Previously, we had commission legislative aide. We don't have that. It's commissioner aide. And also, this position is, the job description does allow the position to help support the city clerk. So she will be being trained, or he, whoever it is. We completed a diversity report, which I don't think I've ever seen. And it reflected like 5 different generations are literally working here in the city. We have 41 females and 132 males. We're also starting the process for a new salary study.
Do you want to introduce, excuse me, the new Human Resources
I would like to, if it's okay. If you would stand up, please, Ms. Chapani.
I met some of you.
Okay, and this is our new Human Resources Director. Thank you.
Name is?
Can you please come up and say your name someplace?
My name is Mary Trapani, and I've had the pleasure of meeting you, Commissioner Jones. I've met the mayor. We introduced ourselves. I've not yet met you, but hope to after the meeting. And I'm thrilled to be here. I'm so proud to have Ms. Jones and, of course, Amber. And we're just really excited the 3 of us feel we can do a lot of great things together for the city, for our employees.
Thank you.
And
you
you
share-
have
would
more
you sh-
than 25 years?
I have 32 years of experience.
Would you like to share where you come from and your area of expertise?
You mean personally or professionally?
Professionally.
Okay.
Always professionally.
Okay. So my background is in corporate America, mostly in manufacturing facilities, sometimes manufacturing things like food, sometimes manufacturing things like airplane parts and things like that. So I have a lot of experience with unions, all different types of unions. I'm kind of known as an employee relations specialist, so you have a really sticky employee relations issue, whether it be, a diversity issue, a workplace violence issue, those kind of sexual harassment. I'm kind of known as somebody who can take those on. I love employment law. I nerd out on it. I read everything I can, digest everything I can. I was in human resources when a lot of the human resources laws were either implemented or upgraded. For example, FMLA started in 1994. I became the FMLA person and, was sent to California for 2 weeks to learn FMLA because California is where FMLA started and then it became adopted by President Clinton to the rest of the country. See, that's me nerding out. I'll stop doing that. So that is really what I enjoy. It's what I'm great at. I'm a very diplomatic person. I can remain impartial, take feelings and other things out of it so that I can make proper decisions and make decisions impartially always. And I think that I will be a great addition to this department because of all of that experience, the union piece of it, and definitely I also have a lot of organizational development experience. So that's developing policies and procedures that align with the strategic goals of whatever the organization is to make sure that not just the HR department, but the company in general is moving in the direction that the organization wants to move in.
Thank you. Any further questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here.
Okay. And finally, legislative update. Everyone knows that the legislature adjourned without completing a 2026-27 state budget. The governor did introduce the idea of eliminating property taxes, so we'll see what's going to happen, but thank you so much. That's it for the city manager report.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you. On to final revenue and expenditures orders.
Yes, come please. The finance director is giving all of us an understanding of the final numbers that were submitted to the auditors, and I just want the commissioners to, be aware that these are the final numbers that actually went to the auditors. Go ahead, please.
And this is just a standard procedure that we present this before you, so you are aware of the numbers that we are presenting to the auditors. And this is also a requirement by one of the Florida statutes that we present our numbers that we're presenting to the auditors. So the numbers represent journal entries that are required to convert the finances to GASB, which that's a standard thing that all municipalities do at the end of the year. So I won't bore you to death on all the entries, but it's lots of fun for us that love numbers.
And the audit process has started.
Oh, yes, and the audit process has started.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions? Go ahead.
I don't have a question, I just have a comment, and I want to say thank you. I know it was a lot of work when you came on and getting your hands around all of the things that need to be submitted by the deadlines, and I want to just thank you for getting the city into a place where we're timely with our submissions and definitely meeting our requirements. So thank you and your department very much.
Thank you. We have an excellent team.
Thank you. I'm going to open the floor to public comments. Please limit your public comments to 3 minutes. And these are for items not specifically on our agenda this evening. We'll start, Mr. Brinson.
Isaac Brinson, 900 Main Street. I came down here today to ask about this project that they're doing with the water lines. And because me having a detailed place where the dust is coming by, when I wash the customers' cars, and by about 10 minutes later, the dust is right back on the cars. And I want to know what kind of solution we could come up with to try to help me, because that's my livelihood. This is what I do for a living.
Okay. Ms. Connie, I don't know if
Can
Mr.
I
Verrecchio-
answer right after?
Yes, please.
Okay, so in response, I did go over to Mr. Brunson yesterday with, and we looked at the situation. I did also request that Public Works Director go by and see if we could possibly water the area down so that the dust doesn't come up as badly. Mr. Joe Ferrecchio, you want to say anything, please?
We should have waited.
Yeah, we recognize the problem after you brought it to our attention, of course. I've spoken to the contractor. What they're gonna try to do is come by with a water truck twice a day, earlier in the morning to keep it down, because it's hot during the day, and then in the afternoon. Other than that, there's not a lot we can do. I also asked them to move some of the piles of dirt a little further away from you to try to beat down on the amount of dust that's coming. So we're really trying to do everything we can sort of help you. I understand.
How long do we suspect we'll be in this position?
A few more months.
For about 2 or 3 more months?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
So what do I do about my business being affected?
Come up, please, to the mic, Mr. Brinson, because we can't all
What do
hear
I
you.
do about this, my business being affected by that?
I don't have the answer to that.
Right, neither do I. I think that as we're doing as much as we can, also, I think one of the other steps we talked about was having them finish his area first, remember?
Yeah.
So that way, you won't be affected as long as the project is.
The
'Cause-
contractor is focused on your area, so. he's
Right,
gonna
trying to get
hopefully
you done
we'll see an
first.
improvement.
Yeah, because even like coming out of my drive, as soon as you back out, you got a whole line of dirt right there. So ain't no way to get past it.
Those are gonna move, sir. By
Mi-
the end of the week, those files themselves will move, yes, those specifically, so.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Davis.
And I just want to get clarification. So a general statement first, and I did speak to Ms. Carty about that this week. Any project that we do in the city, we need to proactively meet with and communicate with the business owners and residents. And I think that is one area where we're lacking. People don't know when something's occurring, so that this could have been addressed proactively. And then my question is, I want to make sure I understand what are the steps that's going to be taken, because it sounds like there's an immediate need for some action, like there's dirt there that could potentially be moved someplace else. I hear the watering, and I hear that working with the contractor, we can look for them to maybe move this section up to finish first. So I do want to make sure I'm understanding that properly, and so what can be done immediately?
All those things other than completing the project. So they are gonna try to remove the piles of dirt, and they are gonna start watering twice a day, so.
Starting
Today.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. It's supposed to start today, but no later than tomorrow. It'll be out there.
So
Yeah,
he's,
They will, though.
Mayor.
Okay, and to finish up, go ahead, Commissioner
So
Campbell.
he's talking about the piles, but he's not specifically only referring to the piles. What he's referring to is the ground that's in front of his property,
that's the water.
anytime he does work on a vehicle, he has to back it up over that pile, over that dust. And given the quality of work, hand washing, and I'm also concerned about the watering with the heat. How effective would that be? Is it a solution really, or he's still gonna have to deal with mud? So it's either,
There's not a simple solution here, sir. There really is not, until the construction's finished. It's just to try to do the best they can, trial and error. We'll try the water, hopefully that works. Get them out there to try to sweep with the sweepers better. Maybe that's the next step, so we'll
let me
try
ask you
additional things.
this, is within the confines of the area that he's in, is there not any temporary something that could cover that specific area that will give him a little better relief? Because I don't think it's going to be relief unless you give some kind of temporary topper to go in that area.
It's a good suggestion. The plastic would be not a good choice, but there's some cloth we might be able to lay down, like some we'll explore those options, sir. Absolutely. It's a great idea.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Jeremy LaCourte.
Hello, my name is Jeremy LaCourte, and I appreciate you guys doing all the recognitions ahead of time, too. I come to a lot of these, I don't catch those, so it's nice to catch
Excuse
it.
me, before you get started, Mr. LaCourte, can you tell us the city or town of residence?
Oh, I'm sorry, DeBerry, Florida.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. I work for Preferred Governmental Insurance Trust. Preferred provides property and casualty insurance for over 400 governmental entities across Florida, cities, counties, and fire districts, you name it. We'd love to see if Palatka would like to come to the Preferred family when it comes to renewal this season. We haven't looked at you guys since 2013, which means there's a high likely significant savings that we can do more than what your current program offers you. What makes Preferred different is that we don't provide insurance only. Service is truly the heart of what we do. Every member gets a dedicated loss control agent who regularly meets with you and helps you prevent accidents from becoming claims. We offer the best training and resources, and we're here for you as a long-term partner. It's not just an insurance company. You get a say in how your claims are handled, and we work through independent retail agents, and we frequently find that when members transition from our competition, they realize how neglected they've been. We also have a standout disaster recovery program. It's called Preferred Priority, and it gets you up and running very quickly after an event. Our members consistently tell us that the peace of mind this gives them is invaluable. And there's more. We have a matching program that reimburses cities up to $5,000 for safety equipment purchases. Just to name one. I mentioned we quoted you guys in 2013, and I don't know what your current rate is, but obviously a lot has happened since that time period. And all I'm asking is that you consider us giving you a competitive quote this fall. And if you decide to go ahead and let us just do that to give you the quote, there's usually two outcomes. Number one, you love the quote and we work together, which is my favorite outcome. But there's also the other outcome, and that is that your current provider sharpens their pencils, and they look at your current insurance, and magically, for the first time in a long time, you get a reduction in your premium. Either way, that's a win for the city of Palatka. So I'll leave my card. If there's any questions later that come up, please feel free to send me an email, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Is there, Ms. Kitchens?
Allegra Kitchens, Palatka, Florida, and I just want to give a shout out to your city and streets department, water and streets department. I was at the radio station this afternoon around 12:30, and I found that the water was off. The station manager already left, and so I called the water department, and I figured that the landscape artist, the landscape contractor had hit a city line, but I called the city water department. They said they'd be right out. Then the contractor came back after lunch, and sure enough, the city line had a hole cut in it, and the water meter was sitting up by the curb. And he said, well, we're going to fix it. I said, no, I've called the city. And he goes, well, no, I've called the city. So the city came out very promptly, and sure enough, they've got to come back tomorrow and put in a new meter and everything, because everything was torn up. The contractor everything got messed up. But the water is now back on thanks to the city and the contractor, and then tomorrow the city's coming out to put in the new box at the radio station, WPLK, WIYD, 1428 St. John's, and they said it's no extra charge to the radio station for the water. But I just wanted to point out to you folks how very wonderful your streets and water department is. I've dealt with them before. I've seen them working in 8-foot deep water in the streets, in holes in the middle of the night at 28-degree temperature. They're Johnny on the spot. They're out all the time. And if there's any way to give them a raise, give them a raise.
Thank you. It's nice to hear positive things about our employees who are wonderful. Thank you. Anybody else here for public comments? Come up. And please fill out a card, Mike, when you get a chance. You can speak first. Yeah, no, come up first. You can say. Yes, please come up and give your name and city and town of residence.
Hey, Mike Gibson, Palatka, Florida. I'm just super concerned about the future of Palatka. I've been working with, at the Jenkins Community Center for the last 2 years, year and a half, and, we're at a precipice of deciding who will lead Palatka. And we need to really be serious about that and think about the people that could run for office and excite people of all generations. So I just wanted to express my concern. To me, like the people running right now, are you excited about it? I'm not. Let's get excited about voting. So that's all I got to say.
Thank you, and please fill out a card and
Thank
turn
you.
it in to the city clerk. Thank you. Is there anybody else here for public comment? Ms. Grace, please come on up. Name and city and town of residence.
Good evening, Nicole Grace, Palatka, Florida. Outside the city limits, it's unincorporated Putnam County. I am here as president of the Historical Society, and I just wanted to say how excited I am. The Bronson Mulholland House, that grant program has been moving along, and Mr. Randy, who's out there, has made quite a bit of progress. We've included him in a lot of our programming and invited him to the meetings, which I know we send it by email to y'all as well. But it's just for so many years I've heard, oh, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in the city. It's not going to do it. And it's being done. So we're clad with wood and moving forward. So thank you. And I just, wanted to share that.
Thank you. We're happy too. Thank you.
I want to say thank you to our projects team, that they're really aggressive with moving things forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anybody else here for public comment? Seeing none, I'll close public comment. I don't know if there's anything further to respond to at this time, based on the public comments we received, other than Mr. Brinson's, which we did respond to. Moving on to the consent agenda, I'm going to pull items B and F.
Yes.
Go ahead.
E and M.
E and M, okay. I said B and F, then E and M.
Mayor?
Yes.
I'm sorry. F is that streetscape. Is there any way to pull it off of the agenda, or once it's on, we cannot pull it off? So it just got pulled? But pull me now to discuss it. I wanted to pull it
Pull
for
for removal.
off.
But-
Yes, for
but you-
removal.
Yeah, we will, and that's why I thought when we got to it, once we get through
Oh,
to
okay.
that portion.
Yes,
Yes,
thank you.
thank you. Any other items to be pulled?
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda excluding items B, E, F, and M.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. Item B, adopt resolution 2026 R45, granting a special events permit to Lee Hall for the Easter Fun Day event. Mr. Cutright.
All right, so did you pull it because you had some questions, or did we, I asked Ms. Carter to pull it because I wanted to have some changes to the event.
Okay.
So, after,
Thank you.
The original event was vetted as a first-time event, but after we looked at it this week and had some concerns from other people, we decided to take another stab and make it a Class B. And also, we brought measures, as you can see, we want to close the roads on Dunham, not Dunham, 14th Street, from Creel to Carr. And actually, we just closing it right there past the lodge and down there right before you get to the parking by the basketball court. That piece in between will be what we're gonna close. Traffic still flow in through the lodge if they made the wrong turn, and if they wanted to come from the other side, they can go out their way. So we're gonna close them there. We're also bringing in extra law enforcement just to be safe. Captain Williams, I thought about we need just to be on the safe side. It's a nice event, and it shouldn't be major issues, but we have had a couple events there, and we want to make sure we can close it out. Amplified sound is going to be asked for. He was having a boom box, so it shouldn't be a lot of loud music, but I said we'll err on the side of caution, so we asked for amplified sound permit too. It's from 2 to 6, 2 to 7. It's a Easter basket giveaway with one vendor and a little music.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Cartwright? Go ahead, Commissioner Davis.
I want to make sure when these events occur and we're going to have extra police, that's a cost to the organizer?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I spoke to.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and make my comment. One of the things I want to ensure in our city that we do is that everyone who meets criteria to have an event can meet the criteria without, I feel like, having to prove that it's going to be a safe event. I'm not saying we shouldn't be prudent, but I do have some concerns that, and I've seen some of the comments on social media and heard some comments in general, and kind of linking it to prior events. We have since established a process and a protocol for events where they are vetted. So I just want to make sure we're not setting a precedent where when some organizers have events, we have to make sure we're proving that it's going to be a safe event. All of our events should be safe, and we will handle anything that is not acceptable accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, discussions? Is there anybody here for public comment on this item? Ms. Kitchens, come on up.
Palatka, Florida. I'm glad you pulled it. I too had some concerns, but I wasn't going to ask it to be pulled. Probably 2 or 3 years ago, maybe longer, there was a Easter egg hunt. It was permitted, it was allowed. The person that put it on filled out all the paperwork, everything was in order, everything was great. The Easter egg hunt went great. The kids had fun. Everything was wonderful until 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, a bunch of adult men in cars with boom boxes pulled in all around Hank Bryan Park. They pulled in people's driveways, they parked on their lawn, they blasted boom boxes, and according to the people who witnessed stuff, there was alcohol and drugs flowing. And that very well concerned the people in that area. I don't live in that area, I'm several blocks away, I'm not concerned about it, but I just want to point out that it was previously, it was an allowed event, and the event planner had they didn't do it. These outside people came in and ruined the event for the children. So I'm glad there's going to be a police presence, because it does happen when you have children's events, which are supposed to be good for children. Before you know it, some adult has decided they're going to come in and ruin it. So I'm glad the police are going to be there. It makes me feel better about the event, and hopefully there won't be anybody parking on people's lawns, parking in the driveway, blocking their homes, cussing, drinking, and drugging. This did happen, and I can't remember how many years ago it was. I think it was when Mr. Campbell, that he hadn't been elected too long. It's been quite a few years ago, but I haven't forgotten it. And it was very important. It was very scary to me, because I was concerned about the children. And they had a really good time. Everything was wonderful. All of a sudden, boom, it went downhill. So I just wanted to say that and say thank you for providing the extra law enforcement. Better to be safe than sorry. And there is a criminal element in Palatka. Culture has nothing to do with it. Race has nothing to do with it. It's got to do with ignorance. There's a criminal element in Palatka that like to break into children's parties and do stuff. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Is anybody else here for public comment on this item? Go ahead.
I will say that with regards to the last few events that have been held at that location, Palatka Police Department and our Recreation Department has done a phenomenal job with making sure that that area was vacated properly and actually stayed around to make sure that there was no loitering within those areas. Also, I want to make sure that to acknowledge the organizer of this event, who has had a previous event, who has went beyond to ensure the safety of his events that have taken place with regards to lighting, with regards to extra police officers, and all of those things. So I want to make sure that we don't overshadow this individual because the previous events had nothing to do with the organizer of this event. So I want us to be mindful, and I do agree with some of the concerns that she had brought up, and those are things that I've already spoke to staff about to ensure the safety, because again, if I'm comfortable with my children being there, I want to be comfortable for every citizen and child to be there. And I would not have my children in a situation that jeopardized their safety at all, and I would not put any other child in this city in that same position. So I just want to make sure that we don't overshadow the event with some of the things that have been said.
Thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead, please make a motion.
I move that we accept Resolution 2026-R-45 with the noted changes.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. On to E, adopt Resolution 2026-R-47, approving Amendment 2 to Grant Agreement 25 PLN 18 FDEP Vulnerability Assessment Mapping.
Yeah, I pull that, Mayor.
Yes, go ahead.
Just a question. It looks like this started in 2024, and we're extending the time. It looks like we needed more time to, I believe, have the deliverable by September 2026. I just wanted to understand what prompted this extension, and what was the original expected date, and how are we assured that we're going to meet this September date? Thank you.
Go ahead.
For those of you who haven't met me, I'm Chris Glimp. I am your new grant writer and administrator. Happy to be here. I can answer your last question first. And the guarantee that we have that this will be done by that time is that the final draft is being created into a final product that was due at the end of March. And unfortunately, it's going to take them just a couple more weeks to finish it. This is a large project with GIS mapping, going fully into our resources, looking at all the different areas, including flooding, water sources, any of the vulnerabilities in terms of a calamity or disaster that could affect Palatka. So it's a very, very large and a very intense project for them.
Thank you, and welcome, Chris. And I do feel confident now that we have you in this position and that our projects are being tracked. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions, Mr. Glenn?
If not.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to,
Oh,
wait a minute. Is anybody here for public comment on this item? Seeing no, close public comment. Do we have a motion?
yes. I move that we accept Resolution 2026-R-47.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Yikes.
Okay.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Just want attention. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. F, adopt Resolution 2026-R-48, approval of change order 2 for St. John's Avenue streetscapes improvement. I pull this because, as we recall from our conversation at the CRA meeting, that this is no longer a change order we need, but I think for folks that are here tonight, could we please provide more information on that?
Yes, I would ask, come on, project manager, so he can explain it better than I, perhaps.
We've been in contact with Ayers and Mayor Construction to get everything done. We have a meeting tomorrow to get all this this stuff cleaned up, and we should have boots on the ground back working tomorrow.
Cool.
So hopefully, this is the last we're gonna speak to this, we hope, and we're back on track. That's our goal.
Okay.
This is gonna-
And there was a source of confusion that there was an expectation we needed larger conduits for the electrical, and that turned out not to be
Yes.
accurate after Mr. Verrecchio reviewed the plans. Okay, thank you.
Okay? I
Do we
think
have a
that's it.
motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. M, adopt resolution 2026 R54 approving the purchase and installation of a splash pad for $484,421.25 to Aqua Underground. Commissioner Davis.
Yes. I pulled this because I want to ask Ms. Cardy, I know this is, and I'm agreeing with what we're adding. My question is this project, do we have the complete scope of the project? And where I'm going is, this is a change order to add I think the flooring.
The installation, more of the installation.
More of the installation. So the reason I pull this is to ask, and one of the concerns I brought up previously is about cost. Is this the cost, and will it continue to rise based on additional items? So my question is, for this item, the installation includes obviously the splash pad and now the additional. And does this include, we talked about some kind of
Fencing,
barrier or fencing? I'm using the
Yes.
term fencing loosely. Does this include everything?
Yes, ma'am, it does. But Mr. Joe, can you come up and give just a little bit more detail and clarity? But to your question, the answer is yes. I'd just like more.
And what is the increase of cost attributed to
Well,
exactly?
Let me do one thing.
Okay.
The original cost that we've been talking about for 2 years was $375,000.
Right.
We all know that. However, during that period of time between when we started talking about it and now we're trying to implement, there were costs that, were not being considered initially. I think that's the best I can say.
Go ahead,
So you
Mr.
go ahead and
Verrecchio.
explain, please.
So, yes, ma'am, that total cost that they includes the installation, the entire park itself, the extended patio around the park, because you can't just have just a park, you have to have where they come into it. There's no bench seating per se, so there might be some small increases incurred down the line, but that does include a barrier around it as well. And we met there the other day to go over the parking area, to clean up the park. There's minimal costs to do that, to get the park ready to be, there'll be some wayfinding signs, so on and so forth, that we have to install. So there will be some costs, but very minimal.
One more thing, we're also looking at putting parking, because it's not that it's a splash pad, but just for accessibility, that street there, Donald Street, I think it's called?
Donald.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so therefore, that street will now allow us to have parking. We did look at some other mitigating features we're going to do, and that's like putting fence not just around the splash pad, but also the wooded area. There's a pond there, so.
And what were you going to say, Mr. Verrecchio? You want to say?
There's also along 9th Street, if you go on that side of the park, on the other side of the pavilion, there's also a parking there. So there's going to be plenty of parking. It was a concern of ours.
Yeah.
But we managed to come up with a pretty good plan to do it cheaply. So
Okay.
have a good
Yeah.
product.
Commissioner Davis. go ahead.
So again, my concern, thank you for that, and I can see the vision. Here's what I want to make sure we don't do, and I've seen this, and I don't like it, is we have a project, and I'd like for us, we want to do it in the most cost-effective way. But if we're going to do it, we need to do it right. And I'm concerned that I hear bench seating is not even already included, because I don't know how you have a splash pad and we want parents to watch their kids or somebody to watch them. Where are they gonna be? In the cars in this great parking lot? But I hear you.
Building right next to it, ma'am.
It-
That's this under area.
The pavilion, which means the kids could potentially have to walk through the dirt to get to the pavilion from the splash pad. I'm not here to design. I'm giving my concern that, which was always my concern, if we're going to do a splash pad, we need to do it properly. And so I'm going to stop there and let someone else comment, but I've lived with splash pads. And just having the splash pad without bench seating or some kind of barrier around it where parents can be right there if the kids need something and not running through a grassy area or dirt to come back from there to back to the splash pad to that. Because, you know, a lot of the questions and concerns that were raised, and specifically by Ms. Kitchens, is making sure things are sanitary and safe. So I want that on the record. So I'm going to yield to anyone else who wants to comment and help me with this.
Commissioner Jones?
Yeah, I agree with Commissioner Davis. And on this particular splash pad, we did go out there and have a site visit, and I hope that we all go on a field trip out there. And to her point, when we're presented with these renderings, this is what we expect. Something definitely very close to this. And the reason why I'm saying it is, to her point, that includes benches. That includes shade areas. Matter of fact, just last week, I went out to the county, and they have installed another shaded area. Because that's an open area, and as we saw, it has to be put out there, or parents won't be out there to watch their kids. And we got to take it into consideration. The second, and I didn't say it to you guys when we were at that meeting, but the increase of cost, it was kind of puzzled me a little bit why it would cost more to have it at Booker Park versus the riverfront. I still don't get that. But I wanted to say it in front of all my colleagues so that you know that no sidebar conversations went on with staff.
Right.
I'm saying it now so that we could have those questions answered. However, the expectation is similar to that, very close, because we don't want to get out there and none of that stuff is not out there. For the amount that we're putting into this splash pad, it's supposed to be quality. We want to make sure that Booker Park get the quality that the riverfront would have gotten.
Exactly.
That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Precisely. Thank you for the comments about the benches.
Does anybody else have comments, Commissioner Dave?
I'm in agreement with what has been stated with regards to, and I'll be more specific. We have a lot of things that come before us, and by the time the product is finished, it's nowhere near what it is. And even at the riverfront, there was something that was presented to us, and by the time it came, it looked like a stable. And so I'm just being realistic. And so bringing a full scope of work to us allow us to make a better decision as to moving forward. And even just thinking about, I'm not sure if we want these kind of benches or, you know, if we want the benches that they are approving at the riverfront, which is $2,000. And, you know, so those things, when you say minimal cost, that's not a minimal cost, but we don't want lack of quality because of where it is. We want to make sure, even with the pavilion that's there, if you have on a hot summer day, you can probably only fit 2 families under that pavilion. So we have to think about it more long-term because there is going to be way more cost and it's not going to be minimal with regards to making sure that the safety component, the health component, because Ms. Allegra, I got to give it to her, she came with a full list of things. And again, walking through grass, not knowing if animals are trekking through there, not knowing all of those kind of things, that is a health violation to me. And honestly, I wouldn't want my children to be a part of that because it opens, but there's a better chance of seeing something if the appropriate foundation is there. So again, at this moment, and I'll be completely honest, I would want to wait and have a real rendering as to what that cost is going to be. And that's just my opinion. We can move forward if we desire, but I'm just letting you know my opinion. I want the project, but when I want the project, I want it to be complete so that we are not piecemealing things together. And I made the same requirement with the Riverfront Park. If we're going to do it, let's do it in its entirety versus bringing us back bits and pieces.
Anybody else?
That is the rendering.
No, I'm fine with the rendering, but I want the full scope of work as we
including the
require,
benches,
so that
including
we
everything.
will.
The rendering, first of all, for the product that we're purchasing, is just a splash pad and immediate area around it. The benches and everything outside the splash pad, any Park USA. So those they have nothing to do with the actual rendering or the product that we're purchasing. I just want to make sure that's perfectly clear.
I think
No,
we
I
understood
understand,
that.
we understand that, but I'm just saying, we want to know the entire cost of what's going to happen, because later on down the road, we're trying to find ways to save money.
Sure.
And the further down the road we go, we know expenses begin to rise, and we've seen that with several projects. So again, I would like to have a full scope of not only what's going to be at the park, but the cost associated with them. Because what we think is minimal, it doesn't always be minimal.
True statement. Also, there could be some lighting issues down the line, depending on how late the park stays open. You're right, there are many unknowns. Part of coming up with designing exactly what's going to happen now, we know what the rendering looks like, we have the square footage, we know the general area we want to put it in. But when they come out to install it, things may change and shift. Like, I personally would like to move it closer to the pavilion to try to cut down on the grassy area. We thought about that because the more the kids go to the grass, the more to bring the grass back out into it, it's going to increase our bill for cleaning up. So we have thought of some certain things, but I think our best option is to actually wait until the footprint is in place, to come up with an idea of what we want to do in what areas. And at that point, we'll certainly bring it back and have a very real, detailed discussion about that, sir.
I didn't know if we could come up with, like, benches or whatever design we choose, that we can't come up with an estimate for, do we need 5, 6, whatever we need, and how much will that cost additionally? And other things as well, but I mean, I think we can come up with estimates.
Yeah, but that would be park improvements. They don't have anything to specifically do with
I get
the
that.
splash pad,
I get
because
it.
that's a cost in itself. And
I get it, but it's
there's-
necessary for the-
But, yeah, but there's a budget in parks, $1 million budget, that we could put benches, and that's for whether you're playing basketball, whether you're having a picnic or whatever. So you can't put that cost just on the splash pad.
I agree
I
with
just
that, but
wanna
I would
make that
just like
clear.
to see the total cost, whatever budget line item it's coming out of, or an estimate of it. I mean, I just think, again, we don't know. I know what you're saying, I agree, I understand.
Yeah, because you
understand.
can't bundle that up, because it could be a separate budget. Go ahead.
So what I'd like to recommend, because I'm sure, to the mayor's point about estimating, we can get estimates because we know the capacity of the splash pad. And I'm sure that vendor, based on experience and historical information, can give us recommendations based on the capacity of what that looks like. Now, to Commissioner Jones's point, I am not saying that money comes out of splash pad. Splash pad is splash pad, but we do need to understand and work with finance to make sure we're allocating from the parks, how we can maintain and do all of these things. So that's my recommendation. Now, I don't know what we need to do in terms of a motion or action.
Can I ask just one thing?
Go ahead.
Also? Because I believe Public Works Director advised me that one of the reasons why that cost went up, because there was a time between when we first started and we finally got here. Also, I think the vendor, wasn't there something about them needing to have a purchase order pretty soon?
Correct.
In order to keep the price we have, because next thing you know, that's gonna go up even more.
20%.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just want that known.
Go ahead. I don't know if you had something, Commissioner Jones?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Is there anybody here for public comment on this item? Okay, well, Ms. Kitchens first. Mr. Joe, can you move over?
Elizabeth Kitchens, Palatka, Florida. I had thought about the snakes in the grass, so to speak, and when Ms. Davis was talking about it, I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, you all need to make sure that whatever the walkway is to the splash pad, that they don't have to go through the grass or leaves or anything like that. I would suggest moving it as close to the pavilion as you can. And as to the benches, if you all have ever sat on a metal bench when it's super hot and super cold, you don't want to do that. I suggest wooden benches. They feel really, they're hot and they're cold, but they're not as bad as metal. I would suggest wooden benches, similar to what they have around pools and stuff, which will come out of the park stuff. But as far as the expense goes, and what, thank you, Commissioner Campbell, for mentioning me. The list that I gave you all did not come from me. The state of Florida, the Department of Health has regulations, very strong regulations on the operation of these splash pads and what you have to have in place. The same regulations as what you have to have for a pool. This is the cost of installation. You haven't talked about the cost of maintenance and running and doing that, but it looks great. I'm excited about it, but I do hope you can get a canopy over it because, you know, that water's going to be kind of hot in the summertime. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Idz, come on up. Give your name, yeah, you can fill out a card afterwards, but please do so. Name and city, town residence.
Mike Gibson, Palatka, Florida. Thank you for guiding me through the process. I was a little confused about that. This is a values versus money conversation. I feel like a lot of you are invested in the idea. I was against this idea originally because somebody said, hey, we already have a splash pad near
Theobald Park.
Yeah, the Triangle Park. Well, why can't we be a 2 splash pad city? So yes, I feel like all these conversations about benches and you know, a great canopy, and they're important, but something to give kids excited about going by the river. That's, I mean, how can you put a price on that? So I'm excited about that whole idea. I hope that you guys can work it out. Trying to think if I have anything else to say here. Yeah, I just hope you guys can kind of greenlight this because I think it's a great idea. Let's be pro Palatka.
Thank you.
All right.
Is there anybody else here for public comment on this item? Seeing no one, close public comment. Do we have a motion?
I already had.
Okay.
It's a vote.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm spaced out. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you.
Mayor, I need some clarification on the consent item F.
Yeah,
that
I
was
realized
pulled.
that.
I believe you made a motion to approve it. I think that
Yeah,
was.
we made I think can somebody please state the motion again?
No, it wasn't a motion, it was.
Well, what occurred was, that's why I was looking, it
Yes,
said
and I-
so moved. I don't know
Yes.
what was moved.
Okay, so we need
So it
a
was-
repeat of the motions when they're made.
So, yes, and so it needs to be pulled permanently. Yeah.
I thought we had that discussion, so.
Yeah, but restate it.
I purposely asked the question that when we pulled that it was for to be pulled.
Okay, so what we will need is, just for clarification for the
I'll make
record,
a
is a motion to deny.
that-
Deny.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep,
Yes.
thanks.
Thank you. 7, discussion direction renaming Napoleon Street. Who's going to speak to it first?
Oh, I don't mind, I guess.
Go ahead, Ms. Cotty.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we need to discuss it?
So, the city had been given an opportunity, or at least just to look at a possibility of securing a property next door to the annex.
No, we're on Napoleon Street.
Oh, we on Napoleon. Oh, I'm moving so fast. Sorry about that. Sorry.
The Brooks, I thought aren't you gonna?
Where's Napoleon?
Yes, that's
Let's make it
that's
happen.
what it's about, but it's about renaming Napoleon Street, so that, yeah.
The presentation was done.
I can speak
Yes.
about it,
Yes.
if
Go
that's
ahead.
okay. Last week, there was a presentation by the class of 1969 from Central Academy. Mr. James spoke about it, and the request is, the class has submitted an application to the city, as well as signatures from citizens of Palatka with a request to rename Napoleon Street to the Fred R. Brooks Street Drive, or whatever is the appropriate name for that. So that is the request.
Yes. And so what we're asking is that we have some direction about where would we like to go with this, because there is also an additional process with the county. It's called the 911 coordination. However, we still would need to have a resolution or something of that nature from the city, just saying that you are in agreement with
So, Ms. West, if you could outline the steps for us,
Sure.
please.
There's, and I do believe it's part of your agenda package.
It is.
There is the Putnam County 911 coordination, where basically you have to go through this process with the county. The Board of County Commissioners approves of it after they coordinate with 911 dispatch services so as not to cause confusion with 911 calls. After the Board of County Commissioners approves of the renaming of the street change, we ratify that change through the form of a resolution. So there are numerous steps that need to be achieved before you adopt your resolution for ratification.
Commissioner Davis.
Okay. Clarification, because I did read what was in the packet. I want to make sure I understand. So the street is in the city. Because there's this 911 component to it, it has to have some county approval. My question is, so in cases like this, the applicant needs to go to the county and not come to the city? Is that what we're saying? Or do we need to agree or provide support for that applicant first in the city and then our process? Because here's why I'm concerned. Thank you for clarifying the 911 situation. I don't see a process in the city of Palatka for requesting a street to be renamed. Is there one, first of all?
We do have, no, we don't have a particular code provision for this. We do have to go through the 911 because that is who we have an agreement with through Putnam County for their dispatch services.
Correct.
We don't have our own dispatch service.
Correct. But what I want clarification on is we have an agreement, the city. So the city has some responsibility in, when I'm going to use the term approving this request before it ever goes there. And I think that's a question. Otherwise, someone could just go to the county to have a street in the city renamed because we have a 911 agreement with the county.
So yes, that actually is what is contemplated. Any person may initiate the process to name or change the name of a public or private roadway anywhere within Putnam County by going through this process. And that is why it comes back to you. If it's within your jurisdiction, you need to ratify at the very end of the process. But this is the process.
So anybody can, or any entity can apply. Ultimately, the city has to ratify it if it's within the city limits.
So county first, then city.
County, city.
So my question is then, for this, which was submitted in January, we're just getting this clarification, which is a little concerning to me. And then, if that's the case, then the information really that's been submitted, the application just needs to be, the person who submitted it needs to just go fill out the application requirements as outlined, I believe, in what we saw here.
Yeah, I have no awareness that this was submitted in January. The applicant proposed this to the county in January?
No, the applicant, I'll let the city manager
Yeah,
speak.
he did. The applicant met with me December 11, 2025. We had a meeting. I gave him understanding at a minimum he needed to get signatures and do a petition so that he can be placed on our agenda. As we prepared to put it on the agenda for voting and so forth, between our chief of police and city attorney working together, they understood that, no, there's another process, and that's called the 911 coordination.
So initially, what my understanding is of what I'm hearing from Commissioner Davis, is there not an opportunity for the process to start with us, and then we submit the application, or do the appropriate corresponding, because I don't remember this being as difficult when we renamed 11th Street A. Philip Randolph, and then we did 19th Street Martin Luther King. So I don't understand that this process was not, it was the same, but it was, I thought we initiated it initially. Because had that been the case, when he met with you, you should have directed him to
One at a
the
time,
county.
please.
Right, and of course, at that time, I didn't know. I even tried to find out, okay, well, what have they done historically? Because it's not the
So
first time.
let me ask this question, because I don't want to extend. Attorney West, are there any policies or procedures that we can implement to mainstream and simplify this process if we were to have someone to come to us again in the future? Taking in consideration, knowing we have to go to the county, should that be the first checkoff on the box, or should coming to us and we initiating? I'm just looking for a process.
Sure. We do have a code provision that pertains to the renaming of parks, open spaces, and community facilities. So we could potentially amend that code provision to include street renaming, but it currently doesn't contemplate that. I should also note, in the street name petition instructions from Putnam County 911 Dispatch, it again starts with any person. We are a municipal corporation, we constitute a person, so we can also initiate that process. Nothing precludes the city from supporting such an endeavor on behalf of an individual or on behalf of the city.
So.
Go ahead, Commissioner Jones.
So can, the presentation was here from the class and the speaker already, and I think consensus was we wanted to make it happen. So at this time, can we direct you, Ms. West, to make it happen?
To apply to the county?
As representative of the city,
Yeah.
you do that and make sure we get that done. And I think it's simple as that.
Is it that simple? Just to be clarified.
We can certainly support the endeavor in terms of going to collect the signatures of the 80% of the affected parties.
But I thought
It's already done.
Oh, okay, I'm not aware of that.
That's
So,
what you said,
but,
Ms.
yeah,
Carter.
the applicant did collect 100 signatures, and I spoke with him today. He said he even had more signatures. I did let him know that we would support him, by doing exactly what you're saying, that we would grab the information and submit it on his behalf to Putnam County 911 Division.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
The instructions that are in our packet mentioned that 80% of those affected by the name change, so those who live on Napoleon Street or at cross sections of Napoleon Street. And this is, Ms. West, please, when I finish, if you can confirm that I'm understanding this. If that is the case, the 100-plus signatures that have already been obtained, the instructions were given for them to get those signatures from residents of the city of Palatka. That's the instruction that was given in December. What I'm hearing, though, is the requirement is 80% of those impacted by the name change, which could be a different set of signatures. So that's one requirement that has to be met before.
Right.
I am asking, as just was previously asked, based on, obviously, we gave a constituent incorrect information or incomplete information. I would like to see the city submit this on behalf of the applicant, that all the work that has already been done. There is an outstanding item for the 80% signatures, but other than that, based on the requirements, it can be executed from the city, and I believe, Ms. West, you just noted that anyone could initiate that, including the city. So that is what I'd like to propose as well, in support of what was already asked by, I believe it was Commissioner Campbell or Commissioner Jones.
And the applicant, just to add on, I made him aware of the 125, and he says that's not a problem, they're ready, etc. Yeah, so I just want you to know that. I did
But again,
communicate.
to make sure the process goes as smoothly as it can, the impacted individuals on Napoleon, to make sure
Yes.
those signatures are on there.
Right. We're committed to assist with
I
that.
still would like to see that a policy is put into place.
That part.
That
Yeah.
clearly
Updated code.
identifies and outlines what we just summed up and
Agreed.
talked about. so that there is not room for error, and that we have something that we can present to anyone that is wanting to do that.
And maybe even amending.
Miss
Go ahead,
Ms.
Commissioner
West,
Davis.
you mentioned that we could modify the existing code, amend the code to include streets. Would that, from your professional opinion, provide the level that we need for future requests like this? Or do we need something more substantial?
An ordinance is the best way to notify the public and maintain consistency over the course of time.
And I think that what she was referring to, we just, not long ago, implemented that with the naming of the parks and all of that kind of stuff. So that's something that's more so recent than not.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
With the renaming of the public places, the streets,
Yes,
that is
yes.
something that has been more in the recent years
Correct.
than it has not been. So
Some time,
that's
yeah.
a very relative policy to follow.
So do I hear us saying that that code, modifying that to add streets names, or am I hearing that we need to do something?
I will look at that code
Okay,
provision
thank
and
you.
see how we can
Okay.
modify it so it can include street renaming.
Okay.
And then I will just need a contact person, because there's elements here. For example, we have to provide 3 alternate choices from the street name list.
Yes.
In addition, this is a platted street. It's on Dick's Plat, and so we will need to confer with the planning department
Correct.
on how we need to modify the plat, which typically will require an ordinance
Okay.
to modify the plat.
Okay, we just need to follow the rules. I do want to state on the record, to Commissioner Campbell's point, this was not the process for previous street renames. So, I know the point I'm trying to make is that obviously something differently happened prior for more than one street. And I would think that that would be documented in the cities. So my question is, can we go back and see how we rename those other streets? That's my question. Can we look into that as well, Ms. West? Find out how we were able to rename streets and what's different now before we delve into a new process that is documented by the county.
And once we do have that, I think it would be helpful to have a checklist of sorts. So when somebody else comes in, they know what those steps are, walking in the door, and what they have to do next. And that's also available for future city employees, so that we don't have to keep reinventing the wheel, that we already have that information. Ms. Kitchens?
I was waiting on her.
I saw her.
No, I was just saying,
I have quite a bit of information to share with you folks, and hopefully I can do it in 3 minutes. St. John's Avenue was the last street that was legally changed, and that was done between 59 and 62 at a city commission meeting, and the way the citizens of Palatka found out about it, we read it in the Daily News. We were not happy. However, let me share this with you. We have tried to get St. John's changed back to Lemon Street over the years, could not do it because you think, okay, change the name, that's great, we're going to change the name. First of all, when you change the name, it affects Social Security, Medicare, income tax, it affects all your benefit programs, it affects your light, your water, your utilities, phone, your credit cards, your banks. Everything you deal with that needs a street address, you have to contact every entity that you deal with. Your banks, your credit unions, your credit cards, you have to contact them and inform them you have a new address. Then you need to check with the property appraiser and make sure that your new address didn't remove your homestead, because now you live in a different location according to the computer records. This is a massive uptaking, and the county is very wise to require that 80% of the citizens who live on the street or adjoin the street, they're the ones that have to sign. I would question how many of those 100 people live on Napoleon Street. Have you asked the citizens, do they want their street name changed? So I think there's a lot of things that have to be researched before you actually move forward with this. The other thing is, I don't particularly believe Napoleon Street was named after the French dictator general Napoleon Bonaparte. I have not had time to research it because I just saw this last night when it popped up as a last-minute item. I think there's been several prominent black business people in Putnam
Hester.
County named Napoleon. One of them had a business in East Palatka. I cannot remember his last name. Haven't had time to research it yet. I know there's been at least several Palatka businessmen with the first name of Napoleon. I believe it was named after them. You need to do historical research before you, oh, it was named after the French general. You yell like somebody in Florida would name something after a French dictator that they were fighting. Yeah, right. I don't think it was named after the general. Maybe it was, but Napoleon is a very famous name during the period of time when the real Napoleon lived, up until probably the 60s, that people named their children Napoleon. So I think that needs to be researched and get the historical, what's the historical reason why it was called Napoleon. Then make sure you get the 80% of the signatures of the people who, these are the people who will be affected, not the class of 69 that lives in New York or East Palatka or out on the hill area of Palatka. The people that live there, they're the ones that got to contact the banks, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Good luck with that. Get your address changed. But and your driver's license, your car tag, voter's registration, you're talking about a massive upheaval of the people that live there. They've got to change that, and it's their responsibility. So I just want to make sure that you all are aware of that and let you know about St. John's. And then the post office does have rules about which way boulevards and the way in the boulevard, they can't run in certain ways. J. Randolph Boulevard, I believe, from what the post office rules are, is not legally, couldn't be a boulevard. But it also, there was nothing done. I think the name was just added to 11th Street.
I think it's
only the
honorary.
part of the post office.
Yeah.
And so if they just added a name at the bottom saying, also known as, but also you get into deed records, you get into title history. There's a massive amount of stuff, and it's going to be impossible to amend Burke's map of 1829 and 1853, close to it. All the deeds will have to call for Napoleon Street, now known as whatever the new name is, but there needs to be in-depth research done before you have a knee-jerk reaction. And if anybody have a street change, then every other year somebody's gonna have a street change. Well, I'm named after my dad, Minnie Kitchens. Let's call South 12th Street Minnie Kitchens Street. Actually, I wanted to go back to Butler Street, what it originally was, and if I can pursue that, I'd be glad to. But I'm just saying, research it, do more research, don't have a knee-jerk reaction to this. The application was made in good faith, but it's not as simple as simply changing the name. It's worse than trying to change your name on your birth certificate, which I had to do on my last name because they had it incorrect. Thank you.
Thank you. And was it named, was Asa Randolph and Martin Luther King Jr., are those honorary?
And that's what you asked the question that I was gonna.
You know, excuse me, they're honorary, and that's a different, I would think, well, I'm waiting for Ms. West.
So
and Mr.
until
Carter.
we get
So
the-
are those, so for example, MLK, where North 19th now says MLK Boulevard, but it's honorary. It has not changed the legal name of the street. Is that correct? It's still not North 19th, and the same for North 11th, Asa Randolph. Those are like, I'm calling it honorary, that may not be the correct thing, but those names are put under, but those streets remain, the names remain the same. They remain North 11th and North 19th. They're just referred to by the community, and there's a sign underneath. Is that, do we know what that process, because I think that's the process that was followed most recently. I think. And also Dr. Hester, who was the first African-American dentist licensed in the state of Florida, Dr. Napoleon Hester, lived right on what is now Reed Street, and his house is still there. So there were a lot of fame. That was just an example.
That's, the words that you were saying is what Chief of Police was
That's
explaining to us as well.
That it was more of an honorary name.
Yeah, because I was asking him what
than
was
a legal
done previously.
change.
Okay, so in taking that into consideration,
It's an easier process.
until we are able to dive deeper
Yes.
into the official changing of the name, I would like it to reference how we have referenced 11th Street and 19th Street until we're able to dive deeper into the official name change, addressing some of the things that have been mentioned.
I understand.
Agreed. Thank you. Anything else? Any further comments?
I would like to just make a statement.
Go ahead.
Because these things could bring up controversy that we really don't need. I would like for you guys to do your homework before you bring it up here, that we have this, because that guy came from out of town. He'd been doing the things he was told to do. That was incorrect. And we need to have our act together and know what we're presenting to us to make these kind of decisions. Because right now, it don't feel good, and I know it don't look good, that we didn't know what we were talking about. So before I get up here, let's make sure we tie the loose end. Because it was an ask to be done, and it was brought to us assuming that everything on the front end was already done, and it wasn't. So that's my request. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Thank you. So we're just asking to bring this back with additional information,
Yes.
please. We don't want to take a recess, I presume?
No, I see
No,
what
okay. On to regular
I don't-
business?
Wait.
Go ahead.
Do
I'm
you all
sorry.
have clear direction? Because what Mayor just reiterated didn't take in consideration what I said.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So- And I don't even think there was really a motion
Well, it's-
for
yeah,
that
it's
particular
regular.
item.
Well, so this is not on regular,
It's
it's
not.
just discussion.
This is
Yeah, it's
discussion, so there's no
discussion
motion
item.
needed.
So just because we have discussion doesn't mean we can't give official direction.
No, we should be.
And then in summary, what Mayor stated still did not take in consideration what I requested.
Yeah.
Which, go ahead, state your request
Or
again.
can Ms. Carter, can you tell us, do you have direction? Tell us what you think,
Okay.
what you
so
heard?
My understanding is that we continue how we have done before, where we've had the honorary name, as Chief of Police was explaining. Okay, and so that's the process that we did before, while we're still making certain that we understand everything about the official name. But I think my question is, are we then saying, so we're saying just move forward with as we've done before, where,
Well, we don't even really know what that was. I mean, I think.
and that's why we're having to research it, because I
Correct.
did ask.
Yes,
And we are trying to make sure.
yes, because we don't
So,
know.
so there were several requests.
Renamings before.
Number one, can we look at the code and look, and we talked about, is there an opportunity for us to modify the code so we don't
Right.
have this going forward?
A checklist.
And we talked about a checklist once we modify the code. That's a further down the road.
So.
Now, I'm going to join Commissioner Campbell's comments because I didn't hear that the chief mentioned any honorary naming until the mayor just mentioned honorary, because that might have stopped a lot of conversation we had here. And that may be the difference between what we did previously, which it sounds like, in this and legally changing the name. So it sounds like we need to make sure we understand options. One is an honorary, which would address the impact that Ms. Kitchens just said. It wouldn't really be it would be really a community change.
And what the chief explained is that it would still say Napoleon.
Well, yeah, we're good. I'm
Right.
good on that. I'm just trying to clarify
Yeah,
next steps.
Okay.
The legal name versus a local honorary
Right.
name.
And then I want to make sure Commissioner Campbell had some clarification.
That was it.
Is that it, the
Everything?
code and
Okay.
options?
And I think just to reinstate what we've had previous discussions, if there is at any time, there is not a complete understanding, please slow us down so that we could have or give the better direction or the best direction to ensure that it is adequately conveyed the desires of us all.
The citizens and the commission.
Okay.
I think, Miss Mary, do you want to say something? Come on.
I was going to,
Yes, please.
This is not the first city, Mary Lawson Brown, 107 South 9th Street. I would suggest that they have legal staff at the Florida League of Cities. And if you approach them and get what some other cities have done, you probably can get something put together that'll satisfy whatever needs we do. They have big legal staff, and they'll be happy to do it for you. So if you call and do that, it's not the first time. I used to tell people when stuff happens, this is not the first crazy thing that's happened in the city. If we look at and ask, other cities have done it, and it might help you get to a better solution.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, on to regular business. Adopt Resolution 2026 R39, purchase of 225 North Second Street, now known as the Liberty Church, for $175,000.
This is, if I may.
Go ahead.
We had a representative, owner representative, to come to the city, myself and the city attorney, showing us property adjacent to the City Hall Annex. We did walk through. Also, recently, I had Public Works Director to walk through to see if it's something we could possibly consider. If we did consider it at all, the property would be utilized primarily for community outreach, housing, economic opportunity, and administrative uses. One of the concerns that we have is, in our minds, safekeeping the investment of the city, or because it is zone C2, which means that it can have a variety of uses there. But we were not actually pursuing purchasing, but we wanted to pursue due diligence more than anything. However, whatever is the will of the commissions, the Board of Commissioners, that's what we would like to adhere to.
Commissioner Davis?
I'm going to just be frank. I'm not interested in the city doing due diligence or even moving towards purchasing the building. The reason is we have several properties now that we're trying to determine what we're going to do with. We still have the consolidated. Port consolidated. We have other buildings that we're not using. And it's not something that the city, to my understanding, was looking for property to make more space for City Hall or the employees in the area or any other departments. So I'm not in favor of that at this point. I'd rather see a comprehensive plan for what we're trying to do for the city in terms of space for our city government, but not just kind of piecemealing. So I am not in favor of even moving forward with due diligence.
Thank you. Go ahead, Commissioner.
I would wholeheartedly agree, and we were actually at the recommendation of having a workshop so that we would be able to better discuss what we already have. So I am in total support of what Commissioner Davis has stated. Again, with Port Consolidated hanging, and we don't know the direction of that, acquiring another building, which would require some form of renovations, that's additional costs outside of the funding that is going to cost to acquire. And then, honestly, how long would that sit before it's occupied?
I agree with everything everybody has said so far. And then there's also the additional maintenance costs ongoing even after the renovations. And we do have surplus real estate property that we really need to, as was just mentioned in the workshop, figure out how we're going forward with that. We really don't need to be in the real estate business other than buildings we need for service to the community. And I get a little concerned. I also think, honestly, this is the realtor perspective, it's overpriced for what it is. And that's a sidebar, but that's okay, because I did do a walkthrough
that ain't a
today.
sidebar, that's relevant.
Well, it is relevant, and there are no comps on it. I tried to do a brief CMA today, just for my own knowledge, edification, and there really is nothing as a comp for it, but I think it's priced, especially in today's market where things are very sluggish. So, those are all my thoughts. Anybody else?
I concur, and I put it in writing today.
Yes, sir.
Same sentiments.
Thank you, Commissioners. I
Okay,
appreciate it.
Ms. Kitchens, please come up.
Allegra Kitchens, Palatka, Florida. I think it's a good idea, and here's why I think it. Since at least 2014, maybe a bit earlier, the City Commission has consisted, well, we don't have enough room at City Hall to expand, so we need to move City Hall out of downtown Palatka, move it. We got no room to expand. We don't own the adjoining property. Lo and behold, you get the Port Consolidated. And then, oh, what do we do with it? What do we do with it? What do we do with it? That's after you said you don't have any room to expand. You have room to expand, number one. Now, there's no excuse to move move City Hall out of downtown Palatka. If you buy the property next door, then you've got more way to expand City Hall in the current location, which is what the citizens want. But it's also a good real estate investment if indeed you decide to cave into the developer who is sitting in the shadows and been wanting City Hall since 2015. Then you can get a better price because you have Port, City Hall, and that building. And perhaps you can move some of the city services that you moved out to Jenkins back to downtown Palatka where it's more convenient for the citizens. I think it's a win-win for the city. I will be glad to go to the property appraiser's office and try to get other comps. I respect that Ms. Correa is
I did it
real
quickly this
agent, but
afternoon.
I will be glad to try to research and get other comps on prices. I think it's a good investment. And I think I know that the general unspoken consensus is move City Hall out of downtown Palatka. It's been that way since 2015. I know that, the citizens know that. But we want Palatka City Hall to stay downtown, in downtown Palatka where it is, because we're the seat of Putnam County. And I think that's a good investment. The least you should do, the workshop, I think is a great idea. Let's have a workshop on it. But I think it's a great investment, and you would be very unwise not to get it, because as Ms. Correa said, Mayor Correa, you don't know what's going to go in next door. It could be something that's very disruptive to City Hall and doesn't fit with City Hall, but it's allowed by code. So I think you need to think about it, and as Commissioner Campbell suggested, do a workshop on it. And as far as your property, I listened with interest about you talking about, oh, your surplus property, surplus property. I find that so interesting because I know that when you have a matching grant and you have to have funds, you put the property the city owns, that assessed value goes up as you're matching funds. And as you get rid of the property the city owns, then you're depleting the resource you have to do matching funds for grants. So think very carefully before you sell city property that can be used as matching grant money for grants. Please think about it. Please have a workshop on everything, including the property next door, as Commissioner Campbell partially suggested. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else here for public comment? Come up, Ms. West, please. Ms. Wise, rather. Sorry.
Audrey Wise, Palatka. I agree with the commission on your decision to not go forward with this project at this time. We have a lot of things looming in Tallahassee. They're talking about property taxes, possibly getting rid of. They're talking about a whole bunch of stuff. I said at this council meeting a few months ago where we talked about not spending until we know what's going on. I understand investing, if we know what was going on, I can understand it, but we do not. We have to be fiscally responsible. We're not here to do investment on property that we know right now might hinder us in the long run. Property taxes is a real thing. Do I agree with it? Absolutely not. But that's not the point. It is a hot issue. And if that comes to realization, all the little cities like ours and communities is going to be affected by what's going to go on. And I think you're doing the right thing. There is no immediate need to do this. I understand the properties are for sale, maybe they'll linger. I have no idea. But we do need to be fiscally responsible. As a citizen here, we implore you to continue to do just what you did, because again, we don't know. And like anybody's budget in their home, you don't just go out and spend when you know you got to tighten your belt. Gas prices are outrageous. A lot of things is going on that we have no control over. Groceries, everything's going to go up. I think we need to be smart about this, and you're doing the right thing. Workshop is not what's needed. Fiscal responsibility is what's needed. And I think you need to stay on your gun and do just what you decided to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? Thank you. So with that said, we're not going forward, or that is the commission's.
I'll make a motion, because
Please,
this
go
is
ahead.
actually business.
That's what I'm asking
I'll make
for.
a
That was
motion
what I was going to
that
press.
we deny the resolution 2026 R39.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. On to public hearings. 9A, second reading, ordinance 2026-19, revising the Code of Ordinances of the City of Palatka, Florida by providing for an update to the benefits payable to firefighter pension retirees.
It's the second reading, motion to approve.
It's the second reading, so,
Motion to approve.
do we have anybody here for public comment on this item? Seeing none, we have no public comment. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Palatka, Florida, 2026-22, proposed amendments to the city charter pursuant to section 166.031.
Motion to approve.
Anybody here for public comment on this item? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. First reading, adopt ordinance 2026-26, an ordinance of the City of Palatka, Florida, revising the Code of Ordinances of the City of Palatka, Florida by providing for an update to the benefits payable to the police pension retirees, providing for severability of provisions, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for publication, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewithin, and providing an effective date. Does somebody want to speak to that as the first reading? Ms. Jones?
She's not on. She's
Okay.
Nobody has nothing to say?
Nobody has anything to
It's
provide
the
any more
first-
information on that?
It's the first reading. Y'all
It's an
fine?
update to the benefits
Yeah, no, I
payable.
understand what it is. I'm saying this more for the community. Come up, Ms.
It's
Jones.
an update as just like the second reading for the firefighters,
Yes.
but it's for the police.
Police.
And they just didn't get them in at the same time, so it's the same thing as they're setting a fixed rate, if my understanding is right. I think the last time we had the, Anna was on Zoom.
Yes.
Yes.
To
Ms. Parrish was
explain
on.
if you needed it. But it's the exact same thing as what the firefighters are doing, and this is just the first reading for the police.
Thank you. And I just wanted that
And I'd like to-
clarification again for people who are tuning in or in the audience.
And
Go
I
ahead.
think you actually stated what I was going to say. We actually, as a commission, made it a requirement that when we do first reading, that it's thoroughly explained or have a representative available to answer any questions that may come. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve.
Second.
A motion and second. Is anybody here for public comments on this item? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. That's it. Any commissioner comments?
I do. I have one.
Go ahead.
And I just want to reiterate, the Palatka Daily News had a story with regards to our board vacancies. So I want to go on the record to announce the board vacancies according to our agenda. We have advisory, airport advisory, 2 vacancies, Board of Zoning and Appeals, 3 vacancies, Planning Board, 3 vacancies, Tree Committee, 1 vacancy, Public Art Committee, 5 vacancies. And if you are interested in applying for any of these boards, please make contact with City Hall, City Clerk, or whomever is designated
Clerk.
to address those boards for an application. Again, we are looking for citizens of this great city to help fill the vacancies of the boards that I just mentioned.
I just have a question. And do we really have 3 vacancies on the planning board? Is that accurate?
It is. Oh, no, we changed it to.
That's what I'm saying.
We downsized, so.
We haven't changed it
We
yet.
haven't changed it officially yet.
So we
Okay,
still
we need to
have the
do
3
that,
vacancies.
just because it's doing it. I don't want people applying and then discovering that there's in
3.
fact no vacancy.
We
Go
do
ahead.
have applications that are sitting on my desk for next meeting.
Okay.
For approval, but we're waiting for Lorenzo to do his due diligence on,
Okay.
interviewing them and all of that. And also, to add to Commissioner Campbell's, it's also, the applications are also available online. So if they are fillable. So they can just fill it out and send it in that way as well.
Thank you. I was just concerned if we are going to change things, even though we haven't done it yet, that we're accepting applications
But
to the
we-
planning board, and then we'll have to.
No, we also talked about having a pool of applicants
Okay,
that we would have.
okay, that's fine, that's
have
fine.
open
Just want to make sure
applications.
that they're also informed of that
Absolutely.
at the
So,
time.
so my question is, when does that come, when is it effective?
The plan, the planning, like changing the number, the composition of the planning board, the number of participants?
I will need to rewrite the ordinance, and
Okay.
it will have to be publicly noticed.
Okay. I think that's what we.
Our plan is to have it by mid-April, hopefully. Or no, the end of April?
Probably the end of April would be
Okay,
the first
that's
reading.
what we need to know.
Okay, thank
That's,
you.
thank you.
my question.
Thank you, that was it. Thank you.
End of April, first
Yeah,
reading.
yes, we understand it has to be publicized. Thank you. And, Commissioner, do you have anything else, Commissioner Campbell?
Just one additional thing, we have, on next Saturday, the Hippity Hoppity Easter festivities at the riverfront. So please bring, families out to enjoy a day planned. We also have Easter egg hunts that are, split up into 3 different age groups. That time is available via Facebook, and other social media outlets.
Okay, Commissioner Jones?
Yeah. We recognize a group of ladies tonight for National Women's Month, but the presenters, you guys, didn't take a bow. So everybody else, all the other women, I would like to applaud you guys for Happy Women's Month, okay? And for the job that you do professionally, and as you said, Ms. Carter, at home, being a wife, being a mother, and all the other duties that you guys are assigned at home. Happy Women's Month.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Commissioner Jones, thank you. Commissioner Davis?
I'd just like to say, I went to Jenkins Community Center, and the sign is beautiful. So we are making progress, and it looks really, really good. So, yeah. I think our city is, moving in the right direction. It's showing a sense of pride, and I'm looking forward to it continuing, so.
Thank you. And just again, the Sunnyland Antique Boat Folks Club are going to be here this weekend. They come every year. It's wooden boats, Chris Craft and that kind of thing. And they spend a week and a half here and spend money. They will be at the riverfront on the weekend, and if you have time, go down and say hello. I did last year, and that's why I know about it. But it's just a fun group. But it's the fact that they visit and spend some funding here, and so we want to make sure they feel welcome. And so, yeah. But other than that, I have no further comments. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
We have it in the chorus.